Hey everyone. So the first thing I wanted to do is apologize. I have not been consistent about uploading daily. The real reason is I just haven't done it, and I've just chosen not to do it. Obviously there's a lot of stuff going on, so I'm just asking for your grace. But I did want to basically share with you a mini sermon almost. Just words of wisdom that I feel like God was helping me process through. This is for everybody. Just that one thing I guess what I wanted to confess to you was that my life right now is not easy. And a lot of people's lives right now aren't easy. I think that right now, kind of reflecting on Good Friday, so I'm going to upload this tonight so you guys can watch it. But so Good Friday basically we're celebrating Good Friday because 2020 years ago, this is the Friday that Jesus was crucified on the cross. And what that signifies is that we are dead to our sin because we know what happens 3 days later on Easter, where he rises from the grave and defeats death and conquers sin in all of our lives, so that by the blood of Jesus, sin is no longer held against us in God's eyes, and we are granted salvation through his blood and because of his blood and because of his sacrifice. And one thing that I was kind of meditating on and thinking over is someone said basically just something along the lines of how we like to sanitize his crucifixion. His crucifixion was meant to humiliate him. It was meant to make him look awful. They basically broke his bones, whipped him till you could see his bones and bare skin, and he bled. And it was not pretty. This was not a, like, oh, Jesus died for us, and like, we get to be thankful that he went through all of that on our behalf, but it was not pretty. The whole point of him taking on that weight is that it was hard. And I think that sometimes in our lives we sanitize, and I think it's kind of funny because the whole quarantine, we're just talking about cleaning things up. We should be cleaning things when they're dirty, and that's a really cool image that Jesus cleans us because we are dirty and we need him to clean us. But when we sanitize or don't bring to reality our real struggle, then it doesn't really allow him to clean it, if that makes sense. So if I kind of went to God, or I went to anybody and I was like, yeah, I'm really not struggling that much, that doesn't allow them the room and position to be able to help. Like, let's say, this isn't my reality, thank God, but like, let's say I was $1,000 in debt. And I was going like, oh, I'm not really struggling financially, but I'm struggling to find a job. I have no provision. And in the moment right now, like, I am just suffering. I am struggling. If I were to go to someone and be like, oh, no, I'm fine, then that doesn't allow them room and compassion to potentially help me. So I think that just develops humility in us, that when we're with people who love us, we can be completely clear and not sanitize or cover up what we're actually struggling with, such as things like struggling with potentially if you struggle with a porn addiction or a lust addiction, or like even lately for me, it's just been an addiction of sleep schedule, of not being healthy about when I go to bed and when I choose to wake up, and that's been affecting me lately. And if I'm not clear about that, if I'm not telling you guys, or I'm not telling the people who love me around me the truth, then it doesn't allow them to help. So one thing that was awesome the other day was I really needed to fix my sleep schedule and get up. And so I asked my dad, I said, Dad, I'm struggling with needing to get up and get ready. Will you please come help me wake up? Will you kind of like help me wake up in the morning so that I can not suffer any longer? And I think that it takes our humility to go to Jesus in times of prayer and say, hey, Jesus, I am struggling. I really am, and I need your help. Because when we come to him, one, he knows our hearts and our actual situations because he knows all things. So if we came to him and we're like, oh, Jesus, we're not actually struggling that much, he's like, really? Because it looks like you are. And he knows the truth. Even if we don't tell it to him, he knows. And so I thought one thing that we could just practically do, if you're watching this and you're a believer, or you don't even know who Jesus is and you're watching this, or you've been hurt by the church or anything, just go to the people who love you right now and really tell them what you're struggling with. Like, actually go to them and say, hey, I'm struggling with this. Will you help me? And I think that that's one thing that sometimes we're embarrassed to do, or sometimes, I don't even know. Sometimes there's just no good reason why we don't do it. It's just our sinful nature and the fact that we choose not to. But I want to encourage you today, and one of this really cool thing that my mom told me. The word encourage means to fill with courage. So I want to encourage you today, to fill you up with courage, to push you forward, press you and like send you in that direction. If you're struggling with something right now, even if it's this quarantine, before I left, I'm going to Muncie to help my friend Cam move. Before I did all of this, I literally sat at the kitchen table and I said, Dad, I need you to pray for me. I'm feeling anxious. I'm struggling. I just need help. And immediately it's cool. So I'm just thankful for my dad. It just developed compassion in him. And he was like, do you want to pray right now? And I was like, yes. We sat at the kitchen table and he prayed for me. And I'm very thankful for that. And so I want everyone to know just that Jesus wants you to hear him. Or I'm sorry, I said that backwards. Jesus wants you to go talk to him and he wants to hear from you. That's what I meant to say. And so if you're struggling with something, go to him in prayer and don't cover up what you're actually struggling with. Tell him the real thing. He knows already. So just hearing it come out of your lips as a confession of going, God, I am struggling with this. I need your help. He's more than enough for whatever situation you're dealing with, and he's more than likely to show up. And I have a feeling that he will. I have faith that he will. He is our provision and our provider. And I don't know what made me want to go on this little mini sermon rant, but I hope this helped somebody. If it did, if this speaks into your situation, I would love for you to leave a comment letting me know that it helped in any way. And yeah, I'm really thankful that God has given me this outlet to kind of communicate with the people who I love and people who I care about and share his goodness with them. So if this helped you at all, I hope you enjoyed it, and leave a comment letting me know. And I'll hear from you guys. I've got some footage left over that I'll put together for tomorrow, for Saturday. But I love you guys, and I hope you're doing well. And I'll see you in the next video. Maybe I'll just make a series like this where I'm just feeling compelled to share stuff with you. Love you. Bye.